What's up, Cheese? How's it going, man?
You got that behind you just because it's got your name on it, St. Andrews. Is that why it's there?
No, you know what? I bought that at a charity auction back when I was making some good money. It's signed by Jack Nicklaus. That old,
nice.
yeah. It's the 18th flag from the St. Andrews golf course.
Oh, very good.
For a guy that doesn't, I don't like golf, but I thought it was a nice little thing to pick up at a charity auction. Donate some money, right?
Remember the last time we golfed together? A long time ago. It was good time.
Oh my God, yes, I do.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I've ever laughed so hard in my entire. And inside jokes. You can't do inside jokes in the air, but yeah, that was.
Yeah, good times.
How long ago was that, Jay?
It was a while ago now. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it was too long. We'll have to get out.
No. I'm done with golf completely. I've packed it. I despise the game. I despise the sport. Are you still playing?
You weren't very good that day either, but we did have a good time. I wasn't very good either, but good people.
You still playing?
No, I have 4 kids, so there's not a lot of time for me to find around a golf anymore.
Fair enough. How are you finding time to coach with 4 kids?
Well, priorities first, right? Hockey is before family, right? You know what? Summers are my time. Obviously, the off season, put as much time in with my kids as I can. Obviously, coaching takes a lot of your time. Probably a good 60 hours a week, and in the OHL we get 1 day off a week, and I commit that to my kids as well. And what's nice is being with Hamilton now, only about an hour from Buffalo. My kids have all their stuff based out of Buffalo, so I want to stay as close to this area as I can, and Hamilton really worked out so I can get back. If the border clears up a little bit and there's no issues, I can get back and catch my son's hockey, catch my daughter's tennis, catch different special events. So that's actually going to work out really good for me.
Jay McKee joining us here on the Instigators. Tell us, how did the Hamilton thing come about? I didn't even know what was going on, and all of a sudden, Razor was on with us one day, and he's like, "Hey, did you guys hear Jay got the job with Hamilton?" So when did that all start? Obviously, you ended with Kitchener a year and a half ago, and then when did you start with the process with Hamilton?
Well, the league went through the whole pandemic issues where they were shut down for a whole year, and obviously teams aren't hiring during that time. They wanted to make sure that hockey was going to start. So I'd done some interviews, not only with Hamilton, with some other teams as well. And Steve Staios is there. Mike Hanlauer is the owner. It's a fantastic organization. And I had some initial discussions with Steve. He had to go through his process of interviewing a lot of different people. And as a coach, you have to respect that process. And things worked out. Our philosophies aligned. He's a great guy. We really clicked when we discussed, different things, whether it's systems, whether it's how we treat the kids. Obviously, there was a mutual respect with our playing backgrounds, and it just all worked out. So when the league knew that it was going to be starting up again, we went official, and I'm looking forward to it.
Any reminiscing about both of you? You didn't play together there, but Niagara Falls Thunder.
Well, he played in Niagara Falls before me. He also played the Sudbury Wolves, where I played in the OHL too. So it's kind of crazy. He's a few years older, so we didn't cross paths, but we both played in the same junior teams. We both had longevity throughout our NHL careers. Never played together, obviously, against each other many times. And now we're both in the OHL, going the OHL route. Him being a GM, obviously, and myself being a coach. And it's worked out. I look forward to getting up there and getting to spend more time with him. I've heard great things, and looking very forward to it.
Does that make it easier to go through the process of applying to be the coach for the Hamilton Bulldogs, knowing that Steve Staios played a long time? He had a great OHL career. Basically went through. He's obviously a little bit older than you, but he had a great NHL career himself. Knows the game very, very well. Is it easier to have the conversations with him about philosophies and understanding about how you talked about how you treat the kids and the environment that you build? Is it easier to have a conversation with a guy like that that you respect and been through it?
Well, I think it is. I think it is, and when the conversation flows and you can almost finish each other's sentences with the way you feel about things, it makes it really easy. And always had a really high respect for him as a player, but then to talk to him and see how he works and see what his values are, the respect, I gained even more respect. He's a true professional. He puts a lot of pride into what he's doing and wants to, have a top of the line product in Hamilton. So, and then with Michael Andlauer being the owner, he's a part owner of the Montreal Canadiens as well. So his heart is in the sport as well. And that's what you want to be a part of.
You didn't let one rip in the middle of the interview, did you? And say, I thought it was going to be silent.
I did not. No.
That's a little step, brother.
I was saving it for this one.
Yeah, this would actually be the interview where that would be appropriate. A little Instigators, Jay McKee joining us here. Honest, quite, you played. I don't know, how many coaches you played for in the NHL?
Well, I had Ted Nolan, Lindy Ruff, Mike Kitchen for a brief while in St. Louis, Andy Murray, Dan Bylsma. So a good number of coaches. Yeah.
So the reason why I ask you that is, what do you take from them? But then not only that, kids are a lot different these days, Jay. Like I remember specifically in practice one day, something happened in the practice, and I was supposed to do something, and you made a play that Lindy wanted everyone to do something, and he just laid into you, and I skated up. I was a rookie, and I skated up to you, and I said, Jay, I'm sorry. Did I do something wrong there to get you? You were late. You were laid into by Lindy, and you said, "Don't worry, Petey. I've been known to be a bit of a whipping boy around here, but you could take it.
Yeah.
Like you could take it. A lot of kids can't take. I couldn't take that from Lindy. I couldn't take that. Rivs could take it. I couldn't. You could. How do you use that and learn from that to work with these younger kids now who are a lot more fragile than even I was?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what you do, and you have an understanding that you're going to make mistakes at times. The game is about making mistakes, learning from them. You can accept that heat from a coach, and coaching is different. I think there was a lot more coaching through intimidation when we were growing up, through junior, through even pro. And I think Lindy is specifically has been a guy that's probably changed over the years. He was pretty hard in the beginning years, but I think you have to learn. Coaching is about building relationships, getting to know the players, what makes them tick, how they are off the ice, what their family's like, really getting a feel for the players. And Lindy knew he could push my buttons and he would get more out of me. But there are some, and that's what you have to do as a coach with some players. But you also learn that when you lean on a guy to get more out of them, sometimes that tightens them up a little bit. And you just can't coach every player the exact same. As nice as that would be, that would make our job easy as coaches. But you really do have to coach the individual. And there are certainly players I've had where you can push them a little harder and they respond positively. And there's other guys where, you got to massage them a little. You got to get in his ear and just tell him, hey, you'll be better next shift, and give him a pat.
How do you find that out? Do you ask them what they respond to, or do you just see how they respond to things?
A little bit of trial and error, right? You've got to learn as a coach. You've got to evolve. You've got to, if I have a player that you try and push by being a little harder on or trying to get more out of, and you see that he's struggling out there and he's turning pucks over, he's not the same player. Well, you got to try something different next time. And there's sometimes you do it the other way around. You get into the kid's ear when they're younger, you pat them on the back, you tell them, hey, mistakes happen, and just try not to make the same mistake twice, learn from it. And they go out and they play great. Well, that might be the angle you have to take with that player. And also as you have players for a longer period of time, you really get to know them as a human being, right? And you have so many conversations, so many interactions. If you've got a player for 1 or 2 years and you don't know them inside out, you're in the wrong business as a coach. So from day one, you can't know exactly how to treat them, but over time, you certainly get to know them more as people than as players.
Instigators, Jay McKee joining us here. Go ahead, Riv.
I was just going to say, it just comes down to the old saying, treat people the way you want to be treated. Okay. And that's the first and foremost. Like, I mean, these kids nowadays are not like the breed that came up, 20 years ago when we started to play. And, the coaches were the polar opposites of what's being coached today. That's just the way it is. I mean, the coaches that we all went through, I went through so many coaches where everything was coached through intimidation.
Yeah.
Everything was coached
Sorry.
through.
If you look at it, when we grew up, all three of us used to watch Rock'em Sock'em hockey, right? Don Cherry's Rock'em Sock'em.
Yeah.
If you put one of those on,
Always under the tree at Christmas time.
yeah, if you put one of those on for our, my 9-year-old son at his hockey camp, and you watch that, half the hits are going to be suspensions, right? So it's just a different game. It's a different way of teaching, different way of. I mean, I'd love to go through one of Don Cherry's old tapes and just see count up the amount of suspendable games.
I bet you there's 75% of those hits are
2,000 suspendable games.
We're talking not a 2-game suspension. We're talking 15 to 20 in today's.
Yeah. So it's everything's different. Yeah. The way you teach, the way you coach, the way you handle the players, it's the game's different.
Yeah.
And do you teach the kids how to hit? Sorry, Riv, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you teach the kids how to hit, Jay? Because you were a big hitter, and hitting now is one of the biggest question marks in hockey. Not just
bloody hell. He's coaching junior hockey. If a kid doesn't know how to hit now, cut him.
You know what? I
don't know if that's true, Riv, but
one thing as a player, I mean, they all know how to hit, but I've worked with some D specifically, and I kind of had a sort of a pattern of the way I would hit. I tried to bait guys out wide on my left side and turn in, throw all my weight into my outside foot and cut into them hard. And that's something you can teach guys. But outside of that, I think they're pretty well rounded by the time they get to us. A lot of it is system stuff and getting the young kids to understand when they come from minor hockey to the OHL is really understanding the systems, the value of being in the right spots at the right time, the value to playing both ways on the puck, being above the puck, all the small things that, maybe they don't fully understand in minor hockey when they don't do as much video work as we do.
It's not even that. You know what you get in the OHL? You get all the wild stallions that were studs as kids. And you know what the studs as kids get? You know what their coaches did with them? Nothing. They didn't coach them because the kid produced offensively. So that kid was allowed to do anything he wanted, and he was not taught how to play a high level game. So when you get a kid in the OHL, you're basically having to clean his slate because he cannot do the things that he used to do through minor hockey.
That's spot on.
You're getting
Jeff Peters, Jay.
Yeah.
But it's true. You were saying it's spot on. I mean, how hard is it to break those habits from these kids who, honestly, let's be honest, I'm with you, Riv. These kids that go to junior, they were the studs on their team, and it's hard to break some of the habits. How do you do that?
Well, they do come to us very impressionable. They are very willing to learn. They come as studs from the previous team they were playing for, but now they come on to a team where everyone's bigger, faster, stronger. It's like a young player playing his first NHL game. When they get there, they may have been a stud in junior, they may have been a stud in the AHL, but now they're out there with the big boys. So they are very impressionable, and that's part of what we really enjoy as coaches at that level is there's a lot of teaching going on. It's all about teaching and development. We have to try to prepare these guys for the next level, and that starts all over again for them. When they move on to pro, it's the same thing. They get up there with a base, but now they've got to learn how to play with the big boys and play the right way. But that's a part of it. That's all the kids come in a little bit raw. We have to spend a little bit of time with them, but they are very impressionable and take it in pretty quick.
Jay McKee joining us here. He's the new head coach of the Hamilton Bulldogs in the Ontario Hockey League. We'll get into some NHL stuff, some Jack Eichel stuff in a minute, but what kind of team are you taking over? What are your expectations this year?
Well, I think I've said the building blocks are pretty good. They're in place. There's some good veteran leadership there. Very good depth on the team. We do have a bit of an OA situation where we've got a lot of overagers, so some moves will have to be made. But I think Steos did very well in drafted some good size with good agility and skill as well. So team looks all right, shaping up. Obviously, with a year and a half of no OHL hockey, there's going to be some uncertainties at where guys are at and how they come in, but we're excited about that process.
Are you guys prepping for a full season of regular with fans and everything yet? Are you guys up to date on what's happening, or is it too soon?
Well, I think it's a moving target with that. Obviously, there's so much uncertainty with how things are playing out. There's 3 U.S. based teams, or will you be able to go play them? We've put those games on the backside of our schedule, hoping that things with the border restrictions clear up more and more. But there is a mandate for everyone to be vaccinated. So hopefully, once we get to the time in the season where we're supposed to play those games, the border is even easier and we can get across with no issues.
Jay McKee joining us, head coach of the Hamilton Bulldogs, the Ontario Hockey League. So we've been talking all week here, Jay, some Jack Eichel, Buffalo Sabres stuff. I mean, I'm sure you've been following. Well, what's your thought on everything? Should this be as public as it is?
Well, it's hard for it not to be. I mean, everything's public now, right? It's tough to watch. You have an exceptional player who is the captain of the team. You don't want to see things play out this way ever on any team. It's tough. For his agents to come out and try to put pressure on him to be moved, it doesn't help Kevin Adams at all. I think everyone wants what's best for the team and what's best for Jack. And nothing against him. He scored 2 goals. He's on pace for 8 last year. And now you're getting pressured his agents are trying to pressure the organization to move him. That puts the organization in a tough position. And if I'm Kevin, you can't give him up for nothing. It's clear as day. And no different than Duchesne years ago. If you have to hold on to him, hold on to him. I mean, he's an exceptional player. Obviously, things haven't worked out the way everyone has planned in the dressing room and with the team. I just hope that both sides are happy in the end. And you know what? I can't even pretend to have all the answers because I'm not in the dressing room. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I've met Jack a couple times. I don't know how he is in the room. So for me to, say too much about it wouldn't be fair to the organization or to Jack.
Well, let me ask you this then. So I'm at the point now where I feel like the trade's not going to happen before the season. So I guess how would you feel as a player with this situation going on with him coming back to the team at training camp if that were to happen?
You know what? If I'm a player on the team, that's really none of my business. My job is to show up ready to play. And when I'm put on the ice, go out there and play to the best of my abilities. And whether Jack Eichel is a part of the team or not, that has no effect on me as a player. So I think the players need to focus on themselves, and those things are out of the players' control. Of course, you don't want any turmoil. You don't want any distractions. So I think ideally everything's done and taken care of, and both sides are happy before everything starts. But if it doesn't, as a player, you need to be a pro, and that goes for Jack too. If Jack comes to camp, he needs to be a pro and treat it the right way. If he has an attitude or he's sulking or showing anything other than being a professional, that would be disappointing.
As well as I do, though, Jay, you've played a long time, you played with many players. You could be put in a hypothetical where, Miloslav Satan, your best offensive player, one of your top players on your team, has basically said that he wants to be traded, wants to be moved out, and he shows up to training camp. And Jay McKee is a veteran guy in the locker room. He has to answer to the media, and where you're trying to prepare for a brand new season, a new start, new excitement, you, with other veteran players, are going to have to answer multiple questions every single day about Jack or about Miloslav Satan. That's where, as much as you want to be a professional and you need to be a professional and you need to do what you have to do, it's just unwanted, it's just a tough situation for both sides. It's going to be very tough for Jack if he's not traded by that time. And it's going to be tough on the team. It's going to be tough on the team, the players, because they're going to have to answer questions that, quite frankly, they don't want to have to answer. They want to focus on the season.
Yeah, and that's where I said you don't want it to be a distraction. And I've always had a lot of respect for the media, especially now that you guys are in it. But, I think as a player, if I'm asked about Jack, if I'm there as a player next season or in the once everyone gets back together and they're asking me about Jack Eichel and the situation and he's there, as a player, I would respectfully just ask the media. And I'm not talking about that. We're starting a season, and it's go talk to Jack or talk to the team. I'll talk about myself, the other guys, what we're looking forward to. But you don't want that distraction. And hopefully the media will understand that too. You know, I'm sure you guys talk about it every day, though, right?
Oh yeah, we talk about this, Jay, as our time's winding down here. We have a listener on Twitter. He's hilarious. Tweets all the time. He says, "Have him tell the story about finding out he was fatter than Petey again." Oh, what are you weighing these days? You're looking good.
I've lost lots of weight since that day.
Yeah, I was telling Rick.
We got on the scale. That was years ago. I was blown away, and I mean. I think
that was after Coletta's wedding. We were back at your place and we were eating pizza. Yeah. And I said, I bet I said, Jay, I've never seen you so heavy. Yeah. I was telling Riv, you used to have this like 6-pack. You could do like the stomach thing where your stomach like goes in waves and stuff. And I'm like, Riv, I'd never seen him like this. Like Jay it looked like in one of the movies where they put like the makeup stomachs on the guys to add weight.
Like I got stung by a bee, you can say it.
Oh my God.
Anyways, yeah, it was about midnight or 1 a.m. We're having a pizza after the wedding, and we got on the scale, and I was blown away that I weighed more than you. And I threw on my running shoes right away, and I went for a run. Came back, I think I did a mile. I was drenched. I was clearly out of shape.
But the best part about it was, what people don't know is that we're sitting back at your place and our phones are blowing up, and there's Jay sending us videos. I'm half a mile down the road. I got about another 20 miles to go before I'm not as fat as Petey. And then he'd hang up, and then he'd send another one.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. That was entertainment right there. Pure entertainment.
Yeah. When you're done with coaching in 25 years, I think we need to follow you around with a camera. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
Jay McKee, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for your time today, buddy. It was great hearing from you.
Yeah.
Good luck in Hamilton, Jay.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Good luck in Hamilton.
All right.
Jay McKee, former Buffalo Sabre.